Hello everybody from Islands of Adventure here at Universal Studios Orlando Resort. Today we're taking the iPhone 13 Pro out on a test run and comparing it to the iPhone 12 Pro Max to really see the differences, what's better between each phone, what hasn't changed, and if the camera and video really is worth the upgrade. So we're gonna look at 30 frames a second, 60 frames a second. I'm gonna do some walking shots. We're gonna do audio back and forth between them. Right now you're listening through the iPhone 13 Pro, and we can switch it over right now over to the iPhone 12. We'll also test out the brand new cinematic mode on the iPhone 13 Pro and see how it works. Is it worth it? Does it look good? Does it look professional? And then we'll take it out on a nighttime test run and see the differences at night. The camera is supposedly much better at night, so let's just do all sorts of video tests and see what this new phone has to offer. So right now I'm just walking at a normal pace. I'm not really trying to hold the phone steady, just walking normally and just seeing how well the stabilization works on the 1X camera. And then we'll switch it over now to the 0.5 camera. And same thing, not really trying to hold the phone steady, just walking around and checking out the stability of both phones. And now for the 2.5 and the all-new 3X camera, same thing. Trying to hold it as steady as possible versus the 2.5X camera.
He's fishing. He might catch a fish with a pinwheel-like tail. He might catch a fish who spins like a sail. He might catch a fish with a checkerboard belly. He might catch a fish with a strawberry jelly.
And this is the 1X camera.
And now onto my most anticipated feature of this phone, the cinematic mode. You can already see that cinematic mode struggles when there aren't large objects and sharp lines to deal with. This mesh really messes up the image behind it, and the same with bushes and leaves. It has its uses, but it's no replacement for a true digital camera that can do a true manual focus. It's very electronic. It looks quite crappy on landscape mode of the phone, so I can only imagine on a large TV. Video must be completely still for this effect to even work in the slightest. Here it tries to do an okay job, but you can still see the odd fuzziness around the bars. And then in the next shot, even after playing around with the focal setting afterwards on the phone, it was impossible to make it work. When using this mode, you can use an autofocus lock, or you can use an autofocus tracking lock, which will be helpful if you are moving closer or further away from the object, or an object is moving closer or further to you. However, you can see it does not work perfectly even when just barely cutting out the main point of focus. The autofocus lock is better here, that way you can have your main point of focus go completely out of sight and still lock onto that focus point. It still looks absolutely terrible though. The cinematic mode is only available in 1x and 3x shooting modes. I also could not find out how to turn off HDR video with the cinematic mode. It always toggled on no matter what, so these videos look washed out everywhere but on the iPhone itself, which is a huge problem. Cinematic mode is quite useless under most conditions. The video files are also not viewable through most editing programs or any standard Windows video viewer, and when viewing them in the VLC media player, they were just standard videos. I had to import them into iMovie, then save a new movie and then move them onto my PC. All of the edits I previously made in the Photos app weren't saved, so I had to refocus them all over again in the iMovie app, which was much harder and less accurate, and then it still needed a codec to view them once on a Windows computer. For these reasons, I very much say stick with the iPhone 12 if you already have it, as the small improvements are not even close to worth it. And Cine Mode is junk as it sits right now, and just as much a gimmick as HDR video still is on this phone, especially if you're using it for YouTube. But this is before trying out the video at night, so will nighttime video change my mind?
So it is now nighttime. So far, I'm really not impressed with the 13. I don't think it's worth the upgrade at the moment, but the night mode should be better. This is the front-facing camera right now, and we'll go and test out the rear cameras and see if they've made any improvements.
So after all this, is it really worth the upgrade to the iPhone 13 from a 12? Not at all. Cinematic mode is gimmicky at the moment and only works with still, sharp angle, well-lit shots, and the upgrades to night video are not too apparent. I'm keeping my new 13 though because I wanted a smaller phone and the 1TB size. Otherwise, there's really zero reason to move up into this phone if you're only in it for the video. And in my opinion, this is the worst one-year upgrade in the history of iPhone. Likely because of their slight monopoly on the phone market, there's no major use to giving us a good upgrade anyways, so why do it? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this review was helpful, and until next time, see ya.